Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today we're going to talk about all the books that I read for the month of April. There's a lot of them, so we're going to get through this a little quickly because I have 11 books to talk about, so that's a lot. And I did do a reading vlog for some of these that includes some of these books, so I talked about them, a good amount in there, and then I have some review books that I gave my in-depth thoughts about. So we're going to keep this kind of short and sweet today. The first book that I read is The Last Wish, and this is by Andrzej Sapkowski, and this is a bind-up of the first novellas that follow The Witcher, and it kind of starts off that series. Now, I watched the first season of The Witcher with my husband. It was so good. I really liked it. My husband loves that video game. That's one of his all-time favorite video games to play. So when this show was coming out, he was all about it. And I was too. And then after I watched the show, I said, okay, I want to read the books now. So I listened to these. They're actually really good on audio. Normally, I have a hard time with fantasy on audiobooks, but this one I was able to follow pretty good. I think maybe because they were short novellas, so I was able to kind of like pay attention, and then I took a break and then I'd go back and listen to another one. So it kind of broke it up a little bit. So when I go into the full novels, I think I'll physically read those. But I did really like it a lot, and I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was good. And I am glad I watched the show first because I could easily picture the scenes in my head because I had seen the show already. So once I realized like what scene they were talking about and what kind of storyline they were following, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. So I really liked it. And then I read Blindsided by Karen Slaughter. This is a 5-star prediction for me, so I'm going to save my rating for that. This is also one that I picked out for my TBR jar, and I keep a little tab in here when I pull something for a TBR jar pick, and this was for top author. So I actually read it. I haven't read too many of my TBR jar picks. I have been slacking on that, so I need to come up with something to try to read those. But I did read this one. It's Karen Slaughter. I'll give you my full thoughts when I do my 5-star prediction wrap up. The next one I read is Girl Gone Viral, and this is by Alicia Rai, and this one is a companion novel to The Right Swipe, which I read last year and really enjoyed. This one I didn't enjoy quite as much. I didn't love the characters as much. There were certain things about this that I really liked. I liked that our main character, Katrina, liked to cook, and so all the talking about her cooking and what she was cooking and all, how creative she was getting with things, it made me hungry. So I liked that, and then I also liked the background of Jas, who is her love interest / her bodyguard. And here I liked his background and some things that were happening with him. I wanted a little bit more about that, but overall I gave it a 3 stars. It was still enjoyable. I read through it really quickly, but I do have kind of more of my full thoughts on this in my April ARC review video. The next one I read is also a review book, and that is The Love Story of Missy Carmichael. This is by Beth Morey, and I loved this book. This was a surprise 5-star for me. I thought that I would enjoy it and it would be, like something I would, probably recommend, but oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved Missy as a character. I loved a bond that she forms with this dog that she never wanted in the first place, but he became someone very important to her. I love seeing that bond. She was going through some really tough things with her children and with her, kind of mourning the loss of her husband. And she makes some kind of unlikely friends in that. And I love seeing those relationships blossom and how they challenged her to be better and to want to, kind of do a little bit more with her life because she can. So loved it. We'll scream from the rooftops. You guys need to pick up this book. I loved it so much. And then I picked up one of my 5-year on haul books, and that is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, who is also J.K. Rowling. That is the pseudonym that she uses for this series. And I really enjoyed this, you guys. I really did. I gave it a 4-star. It wasn't like knock my socks off 5-star for me, but oh my gosh. And it's really interesting because I was reading Harry Potter at the same time. So I'm reading 2 books by the same author that are so completely different. So different. This is very adult. There's language, there's some violence, a little bit of crudeness, There's not really any like racy scenes or anything, but crude, definitely. And I listened to this on audio and I was kind of like, okay. So I really liked it. I really liked Camoran as a character. I thought he was great. I like that he has a disability. He does have a prosthetic leg that he is, walking on. So that was very interesting, especially in his line of work as a detective, how it affects him. And I enjoyed that aspect of it. And I really liked his banter and his relationship with Robin. I thought it was great. So I'm really happy I read this. I can't wait to read the rest of the series, and I'm totally in. Speaking of J.K. Rowling, I also read Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This was a reread for me. I have obviously read all of the Harry Potter books before. I'm reading them again with my daughter Kaylin. It's her first time reading them. Loved. We both loved it. 5 stars for me always and forever. Harry Potter will always get 5 stars no matter how many times I read them. But I really did enjoy this one. And I'm getting to a point now in the series where I'm really I'm forgetting things. I have forgotten a lot of what happened in here. So reading it is almost like reading it again for the first time because things were happening and I was like, oh gosh. And especially in here is where Professor Umbridge comes in. And I remember she's awful, but I couldn't remember exactly why. And then it becomes apparent real quick. I was like, oh yeah, that's why. So I'm loving rereading these because, I have read the whole series, but I just, it's things I'm forgetting so much of it. So I'm really happy that I'm doing this with her. And it's an experience that we're really enjoying. So we did read the entirety of this 870 page book in the month of April. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, 5 stars always. The next book I read was another one that I did for review, and that is The New Husband, and this is by DJ Palmer. I really enjoyed this one. This is a domestic thriller, and it is about a woman whose husband has gone missing. He's been missing for 2 years, and therefore he is presumed dead. She is starting a new relationship with another man. They're moving in together, and it's slowly becoming apparent that this man has some things that are not okay. And they're getting themselves into a dangerous situation. So that's all I'm going to say about it. It was great. I really, really liked it a lot. I did listen to this one on audio as well. And I definitely recommend that because my favorite audiobook narrator is January Lavoie, and she is one of the narrators of this. This is told from the perspective of the mom, Nina, who's in this new relationship, and then also her teenage daughter. And that is a separate narrator, but both were really good. And yeah, so if you can grab this on audio, I definitely recommend it. Check your libraries and see if they have it. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a step down now because I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, and I didn't like it. Extremely unpopular opinion. Extremely unpopular. I know that. I did not like the characters. I liked the diversity in it, but I almost feel that it could have gone farther in the diversity, especially with her illness. She does suffer from fibromyalgia, which is really hard for me to say. I don't even think I'm still saying it right. But I wanted more of that. It seemed to be just more of, she says it every so often and we're just reminded of it every so often, but we don't really see her go through anything. You know what I mean? So I wanted to see her go through something. I think that maybe would have helped me feel something a little bit more for her. And I didn't like either Chloe or Red. I didn't like either one of them. So them going into a relationship, I didn't care. And I feel awful that I didn't like it. I just didn't. I did not connect with this one, and I don't know what it was. So this one only got a 2-star for me. And I got the second book for review, just like this one, but I'm not going to read it. So I'm going to pass it on to someone who will want to read it. But I'm not going to read it because I don't want to. I don't care. So yeah. Unpopular opinion. Another unpopular opinion. The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. This one I gave 3 stars because it's a lot slower than the first book, definitely. And The only parts I really thoroughly enjoyed were kind of the first couple chapters in the beginning where we're with Legolas and Aragorn, and, you know, they're kind of banding together because they're trying to find Frodo and Sam. And so I liked the beginning part of that, but then it started getting into, you know, they're coming across other people, and I didn't care about the other people coming into it. I just wanted them to get on their journey so they can find everybody. And then I liked the second half where we're with Frodo and Sam, and then they meet Gollum and they start on this journey with Gollum. Those were my favorite parts. And that was like the last part of the book. Everything else was kind of tedious to get through. And yeah, I don't know. Some of the scenes I was kind of skim reading towards the end of the scenes because I was so over it. And I just wanted to get on to the next part. So yeah, this installation of this series was not my favorite. It was my least favorite so far. But I'm still excited to go on to the third one and read and finish up the trilogy. So 3 stars. All right, back on an upswing now for the next 2. I finished Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I am so happy I finished this book. It took me so long to read it, not because I wasn't enjoying it. I really liked this book a lot. I just had a hard time concentrating on it for some reason. Just so many other things were happening. And of course, you know, this whole pandemic hit, so I wasn't reading a ton when I was trying to really pick this up. So I think that was a little bit distracting as well. But when I did pick it up, I really enjoyed it. I just had a hard time picking it up for an extended period of time to knock out a big chunk at a time. I had a hard time with that. But all said and done, I gave this book 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. The magic system is awesome. I love the character of Soothborn. Oh my gosh, I loved him so much. And he's the one character that can't even talk throughout the whole thing. But I loved him, and I loved his relationship that he develops with Ciri. I think they were adorable. And it was really interesting. And of course, it's Sanderson, so it takes turns and turns and turns. And like, I think I know what's going on. Nope, you don't, Sarah. So yeah, really liked it a lot. 4 stars. It didn't knock me off my pedestal the way that Mistborn did. So that's why I gave it 4 stars instead of 5. And it did take me forever to read it, but I still really enjoyed it. Then I picked up another 5-star prediction. So I'm really happy that I read 2 of my 5-star predictions this month because I want to make sure I'm, you know, keeping up on top of those. But I read The Flatshare by Beth O'Leary. And this is another one that I'm not going to give you my star rating yet. But oh my gosh, you guys. Leon is my baby. He is my baby, and no one's allowed to touch him. He is mine. I love him. That's all I'm going to say for now. Mine. Okay, so I did finish the Owls readathon this month as well. So 4 of these books fulfilled prompts for the owl. So I'll show you what I used to fulfill those prompts, because I did post a TBR. However, I changed 2 of the books naturally. So that's just the way it happened. There were 2 books that were on my TBR I just was not going to be able to get to, but 2 other books that I had read fulfilled the prompts. So I just used those instead. So I needed to read 4 books for my owls. And I needed, let me get my sheet here. I passed Ancient Runes, which is to read a book with a heart on the cover or in the title. And for that one, I did Girl Gone Viral because it does have a little heart right here, and then it has a bigger heart on the back. So it counts. All right, so the next one that I completed was Charms, and that is to read a book with a white cover. So Get a Life, Chloe Brown, definitely fulfilled that one. And then History of Magic, which is a book featuring witches or wizards. The Two Towers definitely has wizards in it. Probably some witches somewhere, but wizards definitely. And then Transfiguration is a book or a series that includes a shape-shifting. So I used Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix for that. And fun fact, while I was reading this for the owls, they were taking their owls because this is in year 5 and that's when they take their owls. So that was pretty cool. Okay, guys, those are all the books I read in April. That was a lot. I feel really good about it. And I definitely hit my stride kind of the last week of the month. If you watch my reading vlog, you'll see that I finished 6 of these books within that reading vlog. So started out a little slow, but then ended really good. So I'm proud of myself for it. And I'm definitely on a roll with reading. So I'm excited to go into May and get a lot of books read there too. So I will be back tomorrow with my May TBR. I'm still kind of putting it together, and I will let you know what I plan to read for May. But let me know your thoughts down below. What did you read in the month of April? How was it for you? I know some people are getting a lot of reading done. Some people are too distracted to read and can't really concentrate. So let me know where you fall and how your reading is going. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day.